They probably have already fled the premises. Hang on one second. Hello, you're on the fucking Zach Moonshine show. Is this Jason?
It is. How's it going, Zach?
Dude, what the fuck is going on, man?
Taking a long-needed rest after that album. That thing sucked up a lot of my year. But it was worth it, I think.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, that fucking shit is fucking killer, dude. Tonight was actually the first night that I was able to really, really listen to it without kids running around screaming and shit and fucking, you know. And
That's
to be able
great,
to
man.
sit down and listen to it, man, and when I was listening to it earlier with the headphones on, fucking blasting that shit, dude, that fucking shit sounds good, man.
Thank you, man. I'm kind of glad that now is when you got a chance to listen to it, right? Because we did a couple things to the masters, and I actually tweaked a couple of mixes on it, like after the release date. But I just went and listened to it all the way through just to see what people were, having as a listening experience. I was like, wait, no, hold on, a couple things. So I'm kind of glad that it only was now that you finally got a chance to listen to it. So I think it's it's a lot closer to what I was going for now. So.
Fuck yeah, man. All right, well, let's do this fucking live interview on the fucking on the air right now, right?
Hell yeah.
All right. First
Fire
question. What all off the top of your head, what's going on in the world of Jason Aaron Wood right now, man? For people that don't know.
Well, overall, my thing is, I release an album a year. I try to have a good solid concept whenever I approach an album, but I don't know if I'm just bored quickly or something, or what it is, but I end up kind of doing a different style every year. I have a different project that's also new, which has been kind of my longest running solo project, but it's really more of a, very dark, extreme metal type of thing. So I've returned to that a couple times, but once I released my first solo album, which was just an acoustic album, but once I did that, I was like, you know what, this is the moment to seize on the momentum. I can do this every year if I really put my mind to it. So I've kind of been doing that. This is my fifth one. So that's kind of what I do every year is I try to create like a new listening experience. I am still kind of, I guess, old school, if it makes me old school to do this, but I like to sit down and listen to a whole album. I kind of like a physical album sometimes, but that's very expensive to create. So I've been doing digital albums for the last several years. But it's easier to deliver. But to me, this is just I really like concept albums too. One of my big influences, King Diamond. Not so much entirely in the way I play, although Andy LaRocque is a big guitar influence on me. I just love what he does with concept albums.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I was actually going to ask you was about your influences. You say King Diamond, as far as like the concepts and stuff. What other kind of
especially pretty much from it's kind of all over the place. For the newest album, Escape, it's Black Sabbath is probably barely audible in there. There's not really a lot of that. Candlemass was kind of one of my earliest doom influences, but I'm not really going in that direction too much with this either. I guess there's a little bit of like a My Dying Bride kind of sound in there, here and there.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
And maybe a little bit of like a Swallow the Sun type of direction, like here and there too. There's one band, they had like one album and then they changed their name to another band, but they were called Slumber. And that's actually probably the biggest doom influence on me. They have a very different kind of like melodic doom type of approach, but their album Distress from 2004 that's probably one of my favorite doom albums of all time. And I think that one actually kind of came through a little bit in some songs, but honestly, I can't really, with each song, if I listen to like my own stuff, I can't really even pinpoint exactly where that type of doom influence is going. I was definitely going for a doom sound this time, but I've sort of been playing doom of that sort of style for so long, it's just kind of what comes out now. like ever since like when I first joined like Rain Fell Within in 2001, sort of tailoring my playing style to what I thought fit that band. I can do with that. And of course, I'm Toto's Bond, which is pretty much largely Doom as well. So that's sort of what I've been doing since 2004 with that band too. So this was sort of my chance to just do what Doom would be if I just did it all by myself.
It's definitely audible in it, man. Fucking very cool.
Thank you.
Jason, how long have you been making music at like just anything? Like how long is this? How long have you been doing this? I mean, projects and stuff like that.
I created Old Sonoof, kind of, or what became Old Sonoof in 1997, but I started recording stuff, which to my very, untrained ears, I thought was ready to go and stuff. And I put that stuff out really early, but it was like, when I listen back, I think it was horrible. I mean, other people still seem to like it. Some people uploaded that stuff to YouTube. And, I'm not going to take it down. If people want to listen to it, that's fine. But I don't go around talking about that music anymore. But I mean, like, I sort of didn't feel like I was enough of a guitar player to really start releasing things, like, officially, until all the way to, like, 2012 when I did my Reflection CD. So, I mean, I've been making music the whole time since, like, 1997. Actually, I wrote my first song in 96. But, yeah, I didn't bother to really learn about songwriting until about 2009. So, I mean, I had a long way to go as a musician and as a songwriter. So I think I just kind of sat there on the back burner and sort of struggled a long time with what I think a lot of people go through, where it's like, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to jump into the spotlight yet. I'm not really ready to, this stuff's not good enough. I don't want to be known at this level. I want to be known for something better. And that can go on forever, when are you good enough? So I struggled for a really long time to crawl out from under that. And in fact, that first album I did release, I actually finished that like a year beforehand. There were literally 17 seconds of one song that needed to get completed that I actually did the year I released it. I sat on that album for like a year just to show you. That's how long I struggled with that idea of like, just get out there. Pretty good. It's going to have to be good enough. Start making some kind of a name or something to associate to myself, So a long time, but it took a long time to get to the point where I felt okay releasing something and put my name on it and having to live with that,
That's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, fuck, dude. When we fucking listen to it, when we watch your videos and shit on fucking Facebook and stuff, dude, and you're fucking jamming, man, you definitely can't tell any of that right there.
Oh, thanks.
I can tell you that.
I appreciate that. I have gotten a little more comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah, you look like you know what you're doing, man.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. By the time I just sit there in a room with my camera, it's easy to forget that there's like any number of people on the other end. So that's what I've done on stage when I start having serious stage fright too. I just mentally go back to the side of my bed sitting there and like that other people are there, But yes, I sort of got comfortable with it now. But yeah, I still get stage fright like anybody in, a variety of circumstances.
Well, going all the way back, man, can you remember what exactly it was that made you want to start making your own music? What made you want to pick up an instrument?
Yeah, it was Iron Maiden. I had a very, very narrow range of tastes when I was little. I started listening to Iron Maiden when I was like 9 years old on a whim, and I just got Peace of Mind one day to go with my Trooper poster that I bought, and I got Power Slave like right after that, and the first Iron Maiden, and then Killers, and I only had just a little handful, so it was like Iron Maiden all the way. I just like binge listened to Iron Maiden for a while, and that went on for a couple of years, and then finally I discovered a Black Sabbath tape in the bargain bin. It was like some weird issue of what was that one? We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, which is still like my favorite Sabbath thing. So we got like the best of the best like everywhere. So that was an early influence too. And then like right around that same time, Dream Theater started coming on. Headbangers Ball with Pull Me Under.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, whoa, you can play that fast? And so John Petrucci is like a huge early influence and just lasting. I kind of haven't been following Dream Theater since like the mid-90s, but you know with John Petrucci you can turn on anything that he's doing. It's gonna make your jaw drop. But so like that, and also going from Black Sabbath, following that into Ozzy, Randy Rhoads, obviously, Jakey Lee. Those are kind of my two favorite Ozzy guitarists. Zakk Wylde is obviously really amazing and badass. Not usually quite the style that I go for, but I mean I can appreciate all three of the flavors of the classic Ozzy stuff. So I mean that was the initial influences, and then like Yngwie Malmsteen, like within a year of that or so. But then I discovered Morbid Angel, and that definitely took a steer to the sharp to the left, and it was, to my opinion, much better really, because to me, like listening to like some of that early Morbid Angel stuff, especially all the way up to like Domination in particular, it was just like the art of intentionally ugly and like just darkly splendid melodies. It opened my eyes that there are so many more valid emotions in music than just happy and sad.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, and honestly, with a lot of really dark classical music, like Shostakovich is probably one of my favorite really dark sounding composers. Not everything he does is dark, but like his eighth string quartet is like really dark. That's like the go-to super dark sounding piece. But like I get the same thing from it. It's one scale sometimes it's not enough to convey the emotion, and sometimes you need to really just twist and distort the scale to get the kind of melody and emotion you're going for. So I mean that's a lot of my influences also from that era of classical music, as well as Baroque. I love Bach. It's probably still one of my favorite overall composers. So it's all over the place, really.
Very cool, dude. Now, your old band name, Ol Sanuf, or you actually pronounced it Ol Sanuf? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. I say it Ol Sanuf. I mean, I figure when you throw a band name out like that with two unfamiliar words, you're going to get a wide variation of pronunciation.
I've been fucking it up this whole time, man.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's so much closer to what a lot of people have called it. So whatever.
Well, the name. Where did you come up with that? What is the story behind that? What does it mean?
Ol Sanuf is from the Enochian language or angelic language, and it stems from the diary and other writings of Dr. John Dee, who was the court astrologer to Queen Elizabeth. And in the 1500s, he and Sir Edward Kelly engaged in these crystal gazing experiments, where, according to the story, they communicated with these beings who were essentially the angels of the Book of Enoch. And this was basically the language of the angels. Now the thing is, the angels in the Book of Enoch are the Watchers, or fallen angels.
Mm-hmm.
So the word Ol Sanuf in that language simply means I reign, as in to rule. And at the time when I created the band idea, I mean, this wasn't the original name of the band. It was just some other weird stuff I picked out of like the Necronomicon and like some other Crowley book or something. But Ol Sanuf is from a particular incantation. It's the first two words in the first Enochian key. But I just found that those two words really kind of crystallized the idea for like a really dark one-man band. I reign. I'm the only one who calls the shots. And it's really more of the concept of the whole project, too. On one hand, it's kind of a project it kind of elevates the self as sort of the Godhead for each of us. And a lot of the lyrics kind of reflect that, too. It's really about taking personal responsibility for your life and for your decisions. Not blaming demons for your fuck-ups. Not crediting God with something that human beings actually did for you. Like the here and now, the real solid tracing of, where shit really comes from. Us.
That brings me into one of my next questions. What is your take on one-man bands and like this whole thing that is sort of... It's now become pretty fucking normal for like one man bands to be doing something. But I remember personally, I remember back when I first was doing it myself. Like I used to fucking think, you know, fuck man, people are gonna think I'm like a freak or something. I'm trying to do this all by myself, but now it's like it's totally fucking welcomed for people to do that. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it can be a mixed bag. You know, I mean, I can definitely see the angle where you kind of seem like you're being antisocial. You know, like, fuck you guys, I'm over here, I'll do my own thing. And, you know, I mean, it depends, I guess, on sort of how the one-man band comes about. Like, I started being one primarily because I couldn't find anybody in my local area that had a similar enough interest in what I wanted to do. And, you know, like, and I was like, I need to make this music regardless. And so I just got myself a keyboard and a drum machine, and started using my 4-track tape recorder and started to kind of lay down my ideas. So, I mean, on that, you know, I mean, if you have to do it in order to get your vision out there, I mean, to me, I think the musical vision comes first.
Well, I think it's really cool when you can pull it off like that, and when people listen to it, they do not think that it's a one-man band. Like when I'm listening to your stuff, I'm not thinking in my mind that there's just one person until I like force myself to think about it. I'm like, yeah, this is fucking Jason doing all this shit. But if I'm not thinking about it and I'm just listening to it, it sounds like I'm listening to a full fucking band of fucking people just jamming.
Thanks. I mean, to me, I think that's what it should sound like. I mean, I think that it being a one-man band, I mean, every project is its own kind of concept. So, I mean, for me, being a one-man band is kind of like just, I want it to be an overall, like, oh yeah, that's a nice aside there. Well, good music, hopefully. They'll think it's good music, at least, hopefully. And then on top of that, like, oh yeah, one guy did this. To me, it's just the icing on the cake. I try not to always lead with that, you know, with it being a one-man band. I suppose if the music is really good and well received, then, I mean, that could also be a good thing to lead with as far as, hey, check out what this one guy can do. But, I mean, overall, I just think the music needs to be good and complete and kind of hopefully make you just forget where you even are. I don't know. I mean, I don't have, like, synesthesia or anything, but, I mean, I sort of do experience music as, like, a place. And I kind of try to make the music that I make to purposely kind of hijack someone's emotions and imagination and just take them somewhere. They can opt out and turn it off altogether if they don't like it, but otherwise, you know, they're going where I fucking want them to go. But that's the nice thing about music to me. It's like a one-way language. Definitely a language, but it's like a language of emotion and imagination. And the musician speaks and the listener listens. And, you know, it's sort of a voluntary little trip. So I really kind of think of it as taking them to a place. Yeah, hence soundscape. So I mean, yeah, with it being a one-man band, that's cool. And really, I mean, in my perspective, the original music was a one-man band. It was, you know, individual composers writing for any number of people. And so, if you can find someone to collaborate with that has similar enough interest, then that's great, you know. But I've been in a lot of situations where you're sort of like writing by committee. And that's what it felt like. And, you know, I can't speak for all bands because I haven't been in all bands. Some bands seem to have a wonderful chemistry among them, and that's great. Just doesn't always work out that way. And I think after trying to make that work, and honestly, I don't know that I work so well with this. If I have really strong opinions. So that probably hasn't been I can be absolutely sure, actually, that it hasn't been that pleasant for everyone I've worked with. Because I'm kind of one that has a pretty complete idea already. Like, hold on, let me go into the studio. I'm going to record this quick idea. I'll share it with you. This is how the idea goes. What do you think? And if they don't like it, then it's just going to go on one of my albums. So it's not exactly. I can see how this could still come full circle and be like kind of antisocial and not cooperative, but
yeah,
I can see it from all sides.
As far as recording as a one-man artist, I know like everybody has like a different formula that they go about to create songs and the album. What was it like for you? Like, how did you go in and record piece by piece? Where did you start? And do you have like a certain type of formula that you follow, or is it just?
Sometimes, I mean, like I said, with every album, I kind of try to go with some sort of concept. Even if all the songs aren't like linked together by a storyline, I kind of try to like I decide what the criteria is for what's going to go on there based on certain concepts. And so in this case, this was a continuation of Labyrinth of Dreams, which was my album from 2014. So I already kind of had a concept to build on, both as far as the storyline as well as it being kind of more traditional song structures. Although listening to the album, you'll find it's not really so verse, chorus, standard kind of song on every song. Some of them are more so. But some of the formula that I already had to kind of build on was clean vocals, pretty much all this time. I have so many vocals on all songs, I wanted to differentiate this album from that project. Although the line between the projects is starting to get blurred a little bit, which is a little bit on purpose. But, yeah, I mean, I sort of do follow your standard kind of pop song structure. You know, to me, a verse and a chorus being repeated by, or followed by another verse and a chorus sort of sets up an expectation in a song. So by the time you hear verse, chorus, and then the next verse, you kind of know what's coming next, and you know, another chorus. And that's the psychology of the song. So to me, either going ahead and giving them that chorus, and then going into something to break, the bridge, which is to break the expectation, or cutting out early after that verse and going somewhere totally different. You know, the surprise element in the song. So I think in terms of songwriting principles, why do you put things in a certain order? And a lot of the time, it's I am improvising and then harmonizing whatever I just did and continuing. I am sort of filling up a certain amount of time at the same time, so it is sort of somewhat spontaneous, but it's not. It just depends on whatever I hear in my head, coming next. So a lot of my process is also just listening to what I just had over and over and over until I go insane, basically.
Right on, man. All right. Well, Jason, my next question is about Patreon. You used a Patreon thing to fucking fund this record or what you're doing. What is your opinion on that? I mean, obviously it's been pretty successful for you to do this. What's your opinion on bands fucking using stuff like that? Like GoFundMe's and stuff like that nowadays to fucking to do their own records.
I mean, overall, I think that for bands doing it, I think that it's a necessary evolution. As we sort of watch this music industry change from a place where only a few people ever get the opportunity to even record themselves to a world full of musicians with each having several bands and recording themselves at home now. I think it's natural that record labels. I mean, if they're going to offer something that helps the musician, I think they'll always have a place for it. They're not like the lord over everything like they used to be now. So their deep bank account type pockets, which is essentially what a record label deal is a bank loan where they own your property at the end, is it's going to sort of fall by the wayside except for people that are willing to do that. If it's worth it for you, then go for it. But I think a thing like a crowdsourcing thing is definitely going to just be more and more prevalent. I mean, it seems like there's a big wave of protest against it, like as if musicians shouldn't get paid for what they do.
Yeah, I've seen some negative flack coming back on that in comment threads and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of fucking support for it, obviously, or else it wouldn't be happening. And I just can't help but think, I mean, fuck, dude, it's like the ultimate way to do it 100% independent and without, damn the man, like fucking do it yourself.
Yeah, I personally, I'm doing it, so I mean that's evidence right there. I'm totally for it. I think that it's definitely the way that the future is going to look. I mean, I think that when people are protesting against it, they're simply just uninformed or misinformed. They have the wrong perspective about it.
Yeah.
They arrived at that perspective however they did, and that's fine. But they clearly have not been in the shoes of somebody who wants to do music all the time, or they have some really, like, kind of elitist ideas, which elitism pervades, like, every area of life. There's some, whatever there is to do or think about, there's some elitist out there who thinks they have to do it a certain way because otherwise you're cheating or something. Like, there's some game and rules or something. You either succeed in reaching people or you don't. And if those people want to pay you to keep doing it, let them. You know, there's always going to be somebody that's like, get rid of that because I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's probably the same people.
Dumbasses.
It's probably the same people that get pissed off and they're like, you know, well, they sold out. You know, now that they're doing these fucking huge arena tours and shit like that, they're sold out now. I don't want to buy anything that they do. I don't boycott them, fuck them, you know, blah blah blah. But it's like, dude, fucking, you've got bands out there that are willing to let you be a part of their creation, you know, and have a hand in it 100%. And I mean, what could be cooler than that?
Right, yeah, that's how I think about it. But, you know, I think, unfortunately, I mean, for a very long time now, I don't even know if it's as much as it was, but especially like in the 90s when metal was kind of forced underground. And, you know, like, liking metal was something like that you were actually very unique for doing. It became kind of an identity, and it is an identity still. It is a huge part of our identity. You know, I mean, it's still part of mine, too. I mean, I don't feel like it's the only part of my identity anymore, but there's a huge piece of elitism that goes with that, or it comes from it. Maybe the byproduct, but, you know, I mean, like, fuck that shit. I listen to metal. I mean, like, how many of us said that, you know, all of us at some point, you know, like, it's just part of, like, hey, I like this shit, and there's a certain pride that comes with it, but along with that, the shitty side of that coin is that, like, anything I don't like isn't metal. That's sort of, you know, it's like, and one's own tastes start to become, like, the litmus test of what's good and what's not, and of course that's like how tastes work, but some people just seem like they need to extend that to the whole world, like, everyone else's opinion is an opinion. Mine's a fact.
Right.
And I mean, like, I don't know, what percentage of the metal world did I just describe? I've been guilty as fuck of this song, and I'm not pointing any fingers to anybody who's more guilty than me, but not for a while now. I haven't been kind of toned down with that shit. But anyway, sorry for the tangent, but yeah, I just feel like a lot of people have these elitist-based ideas of, you know, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Well, you know, hold on a minute. The point is to get some fans. And the fans, you know, really like your work, let them help you make more of it.
Right on. As far as your plans for the future, man, do you think that you'll ever be able to play in a live setting, or is that not even, you know, are you content with just putting out records and doing what you're doing?
I wouldn't mind playing live again. Right now, I mean, I can honestly take it or leave it right now. I've done a lot of that. And there is a huge, awesome rush that does come with playing live for people. You know, there's nothing like a crowd of 200 people screaming in appreciation of something you just did in real time. But there's also very little chance of a van getting robbed in the middle of nowhere and me losing every instrument I own, so that some crime ring in the Midwest can cash in once again on another musician's entire band, you know, gear. So it's, you know, and being rushed on and off the stage by whatever sound engineer. You know, there's a lot of stuff that kind of comes with the live thing that, you know, honestly, I haven't been happier in music than now. When I just sit back and create another audio universe and visit it first before anybody else. And if I don't like where something is, change it and really kind of build the thing and, you know, get it ready for other people to experience. To me, that's what I started when I really think about, like, what I really wanted to do from the beginning. I wanted to make music. I started, you know, playing because I heard music that I liked, but I would have done it a little different. And now I finally have a chance to make it exactly how I would have had it. And I don't have to gain anybody's approval. You know, the listener likes it or they don't. I want people to enjoy it, because I will have to be honest. I make this stuff for myself, because this is what I want to hear, like, right now. And if I didn't, I don't think it would be as good.
Right on, man. As far as your local scene there, I see you called from Maryland. What can you tell people about your local metal scene there?
There's a lot of really good bands in this area, actually. I mean, I moved here from South Jersey originally, which seems to have gotten a better scene since I moved away 16 years ago. But the D.C. area metal scene is actually quite good. There's a lot of really talented musicians here and really great bands. So, I mean, we have had some turnover in the venues for live music here, which has been sort of also uprooted any desire to dig back in for playing live, because you're going to have to kind of forge absolutely brand new connections with clubs. It's all gone now. So we had a club called Jack's here for a long time, which became another club called Empire, which just closed down altogether. So there goes Northern Virginia. But Baltimore seems to be where it's all moved to now. All of the clubs for playing out. But I mean, that said, there's a lot of really good, talented bands here.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, Jason, let me ask, what kind of plans do you have for the future? What can fans of your music look forward to down the road?
First things first, Totus Bombing. It's been for anybody that's been following me through Totus Bombing, which is kind of probably where my largest audience still is. You guys have been waiting for 8 going on 9 years for the new album, and we're all very sorry that that's been taking so long. It's just been one thing after another, but the goal here is the end of March right now. We have a lot of this album written. It's very close to completion as far as writing goes. We don't have any say in what the label situation is going to be. We are signed to Prophecy Productions. We don't know when they would release it, or if after this much time they even want us on the label, to be honest. We're prepared to release it ourselves if that comes out, but comes to that at this point, we just want to get this thing finished, because it is, I think, good enough where people are going to really love this album, and I think it will have been worth the wait. We're going to be wrapping up the recording for that, aiming for the last day of March 2017. I'm also working on the next little sort of, don't know when I'm going to be releasing that, but this is going to be called While Rome Burns, and this is a concept album I've been cooking up for since like 2004, which covers the historical period from the reign of Emperor Caligula through the fall of Nero and the year of the 4 emperors, which to me is like one of the most epic time periods ever. So I'm going to be telling that 33-year story in a new concept album for All Sinners, which will be kind of expanding on the sound of All Sinners a little bit. Like I mentioned, I'm sort of blurring the lines between the sound for Jason Aaron Wood's albums and All Sinners. So some of the sound in Escape might end up finding its way onto the new All Sinners one.
Very cool.
And after this most recent album experience, I feel like I might need to readdress the mixes and maybe even remaster Iconoclast and maybe even my last Jason Aaron Wood album, Live Into Dreams. We'll see what time I've got for that. That was a very intensive process doing that, so I might just let those albums be. But it is tempting to go back and re-release those and get some tablature books put together finally for these albums.
Right on, dude. Well, we're about running out of time here, man. Fucking, is there anything else that you want to let the people out there know before we let you go, man?
Well, to everybody that has supported my album and pledged to me on Patreon and picked up the album on Bandcamp, I can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate everybody's support on this. And this really, it's such a huge blessing to have so many people responding so well to my music, like on a whole new level. So it's been really well received, and I just can't thank you guys enough.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, before I let you go, man, I got to get you to make a station tag. Cool?
You got it.
All right, man. Whenever you're ready, say, "This is Jason Aaron Wood, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
This is Jason Aaron Wood, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah. Can I get you to make me one for my show, too, man?
You got it. This is Jason Aaron Wood, and you're listening to the Zach Moonshine Show on Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, perfect, dude. All right, well, thanks for calling in, Jason. I'm gonna get back to these fucking tunes, man. I'm gonna play the next 3 songs off your record. We're gonna play it fucking loud, man.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Take care. Rock on.
Fuck yeah, you heard it there, folks. Jason Aaron Wood, crank this motherfucking shit up loud as fuck. Make your neighbors fucking hate you.